Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling, the major league of professional wrestling seen around the globe and across this great nation. Right here from the most famous wrestling arena in the world, the Sportatorium in downtown Dallas, Texas. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Mercer. Great to have you with us on this edition of World Class Championship Wrestling. And we've got a great double main event. It's the Iceman King Parsons, and he's battling the great Kabuki. The other half of that main event, it's the gentleman from England, Chris Adams, and he's taking on John Hollywood Tatum. And in Chris Adams' corner, Miss Sunshine. In Tatum's corner, Missy Hyatt. That's our big main event. You'll see Lance Von Erich and many, many more of the great stars of world-class championship wrestling. We'll be back with our first bout right after this.
Championship Wrestling welcomes you to the world-famous Sportatorium, home of world-class action, sanctioned by the World Class Wrestling Association, the only professional wrestling scene around the globe. Rockolovich, Ralph Pulley, and Rick Hazard are your officials. Our first bout has a 10-minute time limit and features the Freebird from Bad Street, 245 pounds, Buddy Roberts. His opponent's home is New Mexico. Welcome to the...
And from New Mexico, doing some great bouts. Buddy Roberts still jawing with some of the crowd. Well, speaking of great events, we've had a number of them. Fabulous number of great events on World Class Championship Wrestling. Another coming up is our birthday fireworks spectacular. The birthday of the country, July 4th. We'll be headlining a super card of the world's greatest wrestlers at the Reunion Arena in Dallas. July 4th, World Class Championship Wrestling's fireworks spectacular. And the traffic is on the move, and Buddy Roberts stopped himself and protected himself. Good move by Buddy. And still having a few confrontations over there with some of his friends in the stand. The opening event, Buddy Roberts and Mark Youngblood. Well, Buddy's ready to go again. Ralph Pulley trying to get a count on Buddy Roberts. Youngblood is eager, and Buddy Roberts says, no way. Well, Buddy seems a little hesitant to get back in the ring with the Indian chief from New Mexico. Maybe just didn't like those steps over there. Here he comes. 1/3 of the fabulous Freebirds. And once again, Roberts and Pulley run together. Well, they seem to have a penchant for fender bending each other over there on that far side of the ring. Feeling each other out here now, trying to get a little bit of an opening. And Youngblood, let's see if he got the better of this. Yeah, they're on the ropes. And Roberts with a little hair pull moves around. Hey, with a big miss. Nice move by Youngblood stepping underneath that. So Buddy Roberts missed the big right hand. Mark Youngblood. Mark Youngblood comes out of that nicely. Mark Youngblood right now on our first event here. Mark caught in that wrist lock right now. But he shouldn't have too much trouble with Buddy here, except for this little problem of getting the arm out of circulation. Buddy, who probably lives on the edge of this oblivion by the protection of his two brothers. And right now, Youngblood is trying to figure out a way to get out of this situation. Hiding the fingers again. That's kind of typical. Well, Mark Youngblood having a little problem at the moment. Maybe he'll come back here. The momentum has shifted temporarily. Now it shifts right back. And Youngblood takes charge immediately on the diminutive Buddy Roberts. Buddy was a little hesitant to come in the ring a moment ago. Probably didn't want to have the task of facing Youngblood, and now he's got to get on the run. Well, not quick enough. Youngblood with a tomahawk shot on the top of Buddy Roberts' head. Right back in on Buddy again. So the Indian chief of New Mexico opens this thing up and puts the fear of death in Buddy Roberts. That's his real hair, not the wig he used to wear. Youngblood hammers again. Well, Mark really exploded as he chased Buddy around the ring. And now Roberts, see if he wants to come back and get some more. Youngblood firing through. And Roberts trying to put his leg around the corner post, pulls him into it, and does hammer that left leg. Well, a dirty bit of action, but I guess that's something you'd expect from him. Well, Youngblood having a problem there with Roberts. Unable to beat him in the ring, trying to beat him out of the ring. Another shot. Youngblood got himself into this trouble, though, by going over and trying to get Roberts through the roof. So Buddy using the dirty tactics here, and Youngblood trying to get back and save himself. Up on the top rope. Now Roberts is in trouble himself, and Youngblood's going to take care of it right here, and he does. Mark Youngblood getting even now for that dastardly bit of work by Roberts, and the young Indian chief is after him with a tomahawk shot here. The bell rings, the time limit evidently, and another shot just for good measure. And Roberts is gone, and see if Ralph Pulley's going to make the winner. Nope, no winner. Let's go down to Mark Lawrence.
A time limit draw is declared by Ralph Pulley.
So referee Ralph Pulley calls it a time limit draw, no winner, and we're going to be back to show you something spectacular next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
New car buyers, why pay more? At Murphy Chevrolet, everyone pays the same
event. Rick Rude, the World Heavyweight Champion, and Bruiser Brody. Now, we're not going to tell you much about this match. Just want to say, stand by, get set, watch it as we join it in progress.
Rude pulls him off the ropes and continues to punish him. Brody in trouble. Rude climbing the ropes. He really caught him with a fist. Here's the pin, 2, and Brody throws him off. Brody's not through yet. Rick Rude locking up Bruiser Brody. A toe-to-toe slugfest. Brody into the corner. Comes this way, hits hard. Rude charges, but Brody raises the foot. Brody kicks him into the corner. And Brody begins to show us some of what we expected. The only reason why we haven't seen it yet in this bout is because Rick Rude has done a great job of maintaining control. Brody down across the champion. 1, 2, this won't be enough. The world's best, Rick Rude, facing someone almost at his level, Bruiser Brody. A very different individual, but a very tough, tough man. Brody with a diving splash. Could be, might be, not quite through. High in the air, he takes him. Down he goes, and Brody stays on top. Are we going to get a count? Percy Pringle's interfering. Swatting at Brody with the cane. Here goes Bruiser after Percy. Rick Hazard out holding Brody away. Percy better be careful. Brody's after him. Percy heading up the aisle. Brody gives him a kick. And here they go. Here come the
house lights, please. We need the house lights.
Here comes Brody back. Rick Rude is back on his feet in the ring.
Turn the house
Brody
lights down, please. We need the house lights turned down.
He's all over Rick Rude. Brody, hey, who is this? Did he come from the locker room or the crowd or what? What is happening here? Whoever it is ganging up. There goes Rick Hazard. Percy Pringle has gotten Rick Rude out of the ring to get the stairway. And this big man has down Bruiser Brody. It's Blackjack Mulligan. I'm reading the front of his shirt. Blackjack Mulligan is teaming up with Rick Rude. This must be the big news that Percy was talking about as he pounds that size 14 cowboy boot on the arm of Bruiser Brody.
We need help from the back. Wrestlers from the back, please. We need help from the back.
Stan Holmeyer calls for help from the back. A dangerous altercation has broken loose in the ring, the stairway to the ring. Pringle is talking about his dynasty as Blackjack Mulligan has arrived like a bolt from the blue. This huge man climbs the ropes. Rude holds the arm, and it may be broken now. Holy cow, if you could hear me in the back of this building, hurry, we need help. Here comes Lance Von Erich. Lance Von Erich moves in on Rude. Mulligan does something to his arm and goes after Lance. Mulligan has some sort of claw on Lance Von Erich, and down he goes. Percy Pringle shoving Rick Hazard out of the way, interfering.
We need help from the back. We need help from the back.
Stan Holmeyer beckoning for more assistance as Blackjack Mulligan being urged on by Percy Pringle with some sort of claw that has paralyzed Lance Von Erich. Bruiser Brody has a damaged arm. He's incapacitated in the ring.
Here comes the grappler. That's not going to do any good, but Rick Rude kicks him out of the ring. Steve Simpson is in and Rude is on him. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. Blackjack Mulligan on Brown it is. He's disposing of anybody that gets in his way. He and Rude throw Brian over the rope. Blackjack Mulligan back on to Lance Von Erich with that claw. Brody is totally incapacitated with the arm. Simpson, Adias, and the grappler have been disposed of. There goes the grappler again. They're out on the floor. The fans are standing in ringside. They finally gotten, thanks to Percy Pringle and other officials, Blackjack and Rude out of here. There's Lance Von Erich. Here comes Bronco Lubitsch and Ralph Pulley. I don't know where they've been. Lance Von Erich's head is busted open. Look at it.
Strange, man of the Orient, master of the martial arts, and across the way from East St. Louis, Missouri, it is the Iceman, King Parsons. And he, of course, ebullient, quick, exciting, very, very friendly. There's Kabuki working on his green mist. As Oz protects the camera. And now we're ready to go with this first half of our double main event. Iceman King Parsons, the great Kabuki. Bronco Lubitsch is the referee. The second half of the double main event. Gentleman Chris Adams with Sunshine in his corner, and John Hollywood Tatum with, of course, Missy Hyatt in his corner. Right now, Iceman King Parsons has an unenviable task of trying to defeat this man who seemingly can put himself into a protective sort of trance and just let pain and punishment flow on through and on out. Kabuki has a great way of doing that. Mind over matter, I suppose. Oh, Blackjack Mulligan. I think of that name again when I think of the terror that this man can provide. Huge man, sinister type himself, dangerous. As we remember back to the Brody and Rude tape that we showed you. And having a lot of inquiries, written, phone. When are we going to see the mud wrestling bout between Sunshine and Missy? Well, we'll be bringing that to you in the near future. You're going to be watching World Class Championship Wrestling, so you see that splash of event. Mud wrestling with Sunshine and Missy. Right now, we've got Kabuki rolling into a headlock. World Class Championship Wrestling around the world and across the nation, and soon to be in your home, in your hometown. We'll be in Reunion Arena in Dallas on July 4th with a Firecracker Spectacular, an annual event, and a tremendous parade of the world's greatest wrestlers. Right now, Kabuki holding that headlock on Iceman, rolls it out of there. But what a collision. Another one. Kabuki shouldering. Watch this. Great hook by Iceman King Parsons. Drop kick. Another. And Kabuki on the apron. Kabuki, as we were talking, absorbing the blows. And it looked like when he moved his fingers, it was always to extricate from his body the pain of those series of moves that Iceman King Parsons put on him. Kabuki right back. And a lot of pain for Iceman as that wrist is twisted and bit, and the pressure put on by an expert in that kind of attack. The martial time. Here's Kabuki going now. Trying to sailplane out. Now, he's got a problem with this young man, Iceman King Parsons, who has tremendous strength and will pull him right on around, which he is endeavoring to do at this point. As the crowd pick up the chant. And Iceman, and they roll and right back in. Surfing this Iceman King Parsons is Kabuki. So they're going to try this test of strength again. Kabuki. His hair shadowing. Now his face is evident. The Kabuki flavor of his own creative style as he changes from time to time in the tradition of the Kabuki theater. Famous in Japan, in the Orient. And the great Kabuki. That'll be a namesake. A couple of quick kicks. He can do that so well. Thrust kick or two, and he has Iceman King Parsons still in trouble. Judo chop to the top of the head. Another jiu-jitsu chop. Iceman shakes it off. Kabuki comes back, and Iceman's going to shake it again. Put another one up there, Kabuki. And he does. Iceman with a big smile, and he goes to the attack. That headbutt's got Kabuki reeling now. The first half of our double main event here on World Class Championship Wrestling. Iceman King Parsons. It's all wound up, and a left hook to the jaw. A right one. Couple of right ones. He continues to pound in there. Bronco Lubitsch warning, and another one. So a good old street savvy by Iceman King Parsons with the blows there. Former boxer. Up and over Kabuki with a thrust kick in the throat. And that is close to being lethal the way Kabuki can do it. Tried those chops on the head a moment ago. It didn't phase Iceman. Right now, Iceman comes off. A collision, and Iceman chasing Kabuki, but over the top rope. No, is it going to be a bell? Yeah, they rang the bell. He says Kabuki thrust him over. Iceman chasing Kabuki, and Iceman was thrust over the top rope by Kabuki. That's the opinion, that's the decision of Bronco Lubitsch. Now, it looked like Iceman was on the run and rather projected himself, but the referee, being in close, could tell that Kabuki used his hands to project Iceman over the top. Here is Mark Lawrence.
Referee Bronco Lubitsch disqualifies Kabuki and awards the bout to the Iceman.
And we'll be back with our second half of a main event. Adams and Tatum, Missy and Sunshine, all next on World Class Championship Wrestling. The second half of our main event here on World Class Championship Wrestling. And in the ring, Sunshine and gentleman Chris Adams. And now, look who's coming down the aisle. John Tatum. Well, my, that is sort of a interesting thing, a little do he's putting on. Certainly an irreverent and insulting way to approach Chris Adams, as John Tatum comes down with a white cane and sunglasses. I'm sure he would not want to insult those folks who are so infirm, but it's just a matter of insulting Chris Adams, which John may be doing. At least he's trying to, and Missy's helping him out. So John Tatum coming to the ring now with his accoutrements, including Missy. And Chris Adams talking kind of disturbed, I think, a little bit about the insensitivity of that a bit by John Tatum. But then John seems only to be sensitive to the wiles of Missy Hyatt. And Missy seems to be certainly enjoying this to the fullest. Sunshine's perturbed too. Chris Adams applauding the performance by these two characters, John Tatum and Missy Hyatt. Up, look out. Well, we'll find out right now what is going on as Missy Hyatt is over. And look out, Sunshine's got Missy. And we got a couple of wars going on. Missy and Sunshine grappling. Chris Adams hitting the left eye. But he goes after Tatum, and away they go. And Missy and Sunshine still battling, and Ralph Pulley has got more than he knows what to deal with. Chris Adams into the rope. Great clotheslines, or pretty well canes John Tatum. Now Chris Adams got to cane Missy Hyatt. But John Tatum ready to come over and help out as he slaps Chris Adams from behind. Missy was saved. And now Chris hammered with the cane, and it's a mayhem affair here. And this double main event, the second half of it. Sunshine out on this near side, so is Missy Hyatt. And Chris Adams on his face as John Tatum used the cane across his back. And clotheslines, gentlemen, Chris Adams. Let's go to Mark Lawrence.
This main event is officially underway. 60-minute time limit from Florida, 255 pounds. Hollywood John Tatum. In his corner, the lovely Missy Hyatt. His opponent, 238 pounds from England, gentleman Chris Adams with Sunshine in his corner. 60 minutes, the bell has sounded.
And the action's outside the ring now as Chris Adams ran into John Tatum. Coming around the corner. And Chris Adams has John Tatum in trouble, and Missy Hyatt is worried right now. Gentleman, Chris Adams. With that protective patch under his left eye. Recovering from the effects of that bout of about 2 months ago now. And he seems to be steadily improving. Chris Adams. Pummeling, hammering, battering, smashing John Tatum. And Chris is still after Tatum, and Tatum puts on the brakes as Chris Adams got ready for his super kick. And Tatum protected himself. Chris Adams waiting for Tatum to come back in the ring. And Tatum's going to come back with a weapon. Last time we saw Tatum, he had a weapon named Missy. Right now, Tatum is going to be helped in the ring. Quick, I'll take your hand and shake you right in here. Chris Adams, no fool. Look out, got a little catapult right here. Boom, into the corner. What a work of art Chris Adams is. Great to see him back. And even though he's just got half his eyesight going, he is a master at what he does. And John Tatum, right now he's got a problem. And it's called a sleep hold put on by Chris Adams. The gentleman from England putting the sleep hold on Tatum, and Missy Hyatt is perturbed. She is not happy. Go, Chris, go. Here comes Missy around the corner now. See what she might try to do. I guess she's just yelling encouragement to John Tatum, who needs some right now, and Sunshine and she are pointing at each other. Sunshine talking to Chris Adams. Tatum trying to come up as Chris Adams holds the sleep hold on him, but Tatum seems to be recovering, holding his own. And nice move by Tatum. He saved himself. At the same time, sending Chris Adams to the floor outside the other side of the ring. But for Tatum, it was the only way out. He had to extricate himself from that sleep vice that Adams had on him. And now Missy Hyatt's passing the chair across the ring. And look out, here comes Tatum, and Chris gets hammered on the back of the head. Chris Adams is hammered in the back. Tatum putting in the kicks again. Still going after him. John Tatum working on Chris Adams now. Just a moment ago, he was almost out of it. He's come back. And a surfboard with a reverse chin lock by Tatum. And now the crowd here at the Venerable Sportatorium picks up the chant. And Chris is trying to go, but right now he's got 245 pounds of Tatum on his back. Sunshine yelling encouragement, leading the cheers. Missy Hyatt a little happier, and Sunshine is not. Chris Adams is up, though, and that's an elbow inside, and Mr. Tatum has got his problems now with that knee lift. So these two gladiators fighting it out, toe-to-toe, fist-to-fist. Here in our main event on World Class Championship Wrestling, a shot over the head, and he almost went out of the ring, and he almost went out of his trunks. But Chris Adams pulled him back. They might have disqualified Chris on that because of the blow, but oh, Tatum puts on the brakes. And Missy Hyatt now on this side encouraging and dropping in on unexpectedly as John Tatum 1, 2, but not 3. Adams is out of there. Chris Adams with an inner strength that pulled him away from adversity there. And the crowd is chanting again. Now it is go, Chris, go, because he is in trouble again with Tatum. Sunshine in a prayerful sort of mood as we got a little piggyback ride here now thanks to the energy of Chris Adams. That's not the way you want to finish the ride as far as Tatum's concerned, but for Chris Adams, it's a moment to rest and then come back to the attack. Here's Tatum, and there he goes. Boom, did he sail out of there, and here comes Chris right behind him. Tatum does not know he's back there. Now he does. On the steps. Hammered on the steps by Chris Adams, and Missy Hyatt is trying to help out her fallen hero. And Missy has a towel there. Let's watch, see what she does. She's doing something down there. Here comes Chris Adams. Sunshine warning Chris Adams. There's a nice kick. Sunshine is coming up on the apron over there. She is yelling at Chris because Missy Hyatt, she's got some sort of canister in her hand. Tatum hammering Chris Adams. Missy Hyatt has some sort of canister. See that canister? Now Sunshine has seen it. She's talking to Pulley, the referee. The suplex tried by Tatum, but it doesn't work, and Tatum is out of balance. There's a spray by Missy Hyatt in the good eye of Chris Adams. Tatum on top. 1, 2, 3. That's what Missy Hyatt was doing, and here comes Sunshine romping around the ring. She's after Missy Hyatt. Chris Adams has been counted out. Sunshine still on the move. She's picking up ground. They miss Missy. Here comes Sunshine up now, and Tatum says, come on in. Meanwhile, Chris Adams is trying to see a little bit better out of it. His one good eye, but Missy Hyatt sprayed some liquid in. Tatum is awarded the victory. Now Pulley is looking at the fans, and let's go to Mark Lawrence.
Hollywood John Tatum is the main event winner.
Now Pulley's a little concerned. He is now beginning to realize that something was going on. He did not see that attack of Missy Hyatt with the canister that she sprayed in Chris Adams' eye. So,
I see a thing right now, but I swear to you one thing. I'm gonna get them back.
So Missy Hyatt slamming into this one again. And Chris Adams is trying to recover. We'll be back to tell you more about World Class Championship Wrestling in just a moment. Big team affair, and it features gentleman Chris Adams teaming up with the Missing Link against John Hollywood Tatum and the Great Kabuki. Sunshine will be at Adams' corner, Missy will be in Tatum's corner, and on hand will be the exciting, the dangerous Blackjack Mulligan. Till then, I'm Bill Mercer. So long, everybody.